Hey guys, my name is Asad Siddiqui. I'm the owner and developer at iDesignSmart.com. And in this video, we'll explore how we can create new pages using the Fusion Builder Live, which is the new feature in the Avada 6.0. And in my previous video, I showed you how you can use the Fusion Builder Live to quickly edit the text elements and how you can explore the image or other element options using the option sidebar in Fusion Builder Live. In this video, the scope of this video will be to build a page from scratch, and we'll explore some of the options, add containers, columns, some elements, and a slider, and also look at the back end of the page. So that is what we want to do. The first step we want to do here is to simply add a new page to our site. So we'll just go ahead and click on new page. So now that the new page is open, we'll just name it something. Let's assume that we are building a new home page. So I will just call it new home. Okay, and then we'll just go ahead and publish it. So now that the new home is published, we'll just click, because we want to see the Fusion Builder Live in action, we'll just click on Fusion Builder Live. And because we haven't done anything, we are not scared of losing the change. So now you can see that the new page comes up in the default template. How does it get the blue background and all that stuff is because the page title bars are set up in the sample content that we had. But assuming that we are going to build a new page, we really don't want to show that. So what we want to do, so you can see the second tab in here is the page options. In the settings, we can go back and go to the page title bar options. You can see that there are so many things that you can override on a page basis. This is page options and not the theme options. So you can say page title bar, and instead of default, you can say hide, which will hide the page title bar. So now you have the whole area to work with. And I'll just go ahead and save it. So now we don't have a title bar. And the other thing we want to do is to make the page full width instead of right now it's the default template, so it will display a sidebar. So what we want to do is to go back to the settings where we were and select the template for that, the 100% width. So the templates I have are the default Avada templates. If you have a child theme installed, you'll also see the templates that you have, like custom templates that you have built. Okay, so now I have hidden the page title bar, changed the template to a full width template, and now it's time to add some containers. So we'll add a container, and we will just say, like I keep repeating this time and time again, that how this responsive design works is you have to things in terms of columns and rows. So like a table kind of. So you can think of each section on your page as a row that you'll have, which is a full width template in Avada. So we'll add a container, and once you add a container, it'll ask you what type of columns do you want in the container. So let's say I'm going half and half here. So I'll have two columns. So right here is my container. This is the first column. This is the second column. So let's say my first column will have some text. So we'll add element. Now if you want heading and text, you can use the title element here. And if you want just the text block, you can do that with the text block as well. So you can do title and then a text block, or you can just directly do text block. So I'll just go ahead and directly do a text block. So here is my text block, and here's the text. I just happen to have some sample text in here that I will just copy, and I will stick that right in here. So like so. So now you can see that my sample text is looking pretty nice. Let's say this is an introduction for what your site is about and things like that. And then we want to maybe add an image on the right hand side. So the layout I'm gonna build will be similar to like an alternate image and text layout. So a cool option in Fusion Builder is to search for elements that you want. So I'll just go ahead and do the image. Now click on this pencil icon and you can select what type of image you want to display. So we'll just go ahead and do this simple one. And what we will do is do some styling on this image. So you can do a lot of different things, like specify the max width, hover type. You can say zoom in or zoom out. If you zoom in, then it'll zoom in. If you zoom out, it'll zoom out. I don't want to do border size. I don't want to display a border here. I do want to do a border radius of 20 pixels is good. So what this does is just makes the corners for your image rounded, which I like. So also I think this text can move a little down, I guess. So I will just go ahead and edit that text again. Go to the text block. I know people don't like it when I do this, but it's just so simple. So I will just put a h3 element and ending h3 element and say my heading. So everything looks nice. What I'm gonna do is also add some animation. So you can go to the animation tab of the image and you can say I want to slide this from the right side and at a speed of 0.4 milliseconds, so maybe 0.5 milliseconds. So that is how it's gonna look. So as you can see, it looks like the image is up and the text is down. So we always want to be symmetrical. So that is a tip for designing. So in this column, what we are going to do is add another element. And in this element, I am going to select a separator. And this separator, I can go to design and specify the width of the separator. Or you can specify the margin top and margin bottom. So 60 pixels right here is where the separator is. So I'm just gonna grab that and I will drag that on top of the image. So now you can see that the image moved down, but maybe a little bit too much down. So I will change this 60 to 30 and that will make it look aligned. So now my section is pretty aligned. So I'll just go ahead and save here. And then I want to add some picture or some background or something to my container. So I will hover over there. I will go to my container options and there are the container options. So you can say 100% width. That is basically was before 100% as well, because I'm working on 100% width page template. So we don't have any spacing. You can select these options: visibility for mobile specific or tablet specific containers. You can toggle that and like clone it, make it special for phone or the tablet. The one that I was really interested in is the background. So you can go ahead. The first option is the color option. So let's say I want some kind of blue in there, so because it goes well with my logo. So let's say I want to be like that, or you can select different options there. So I want to be like that. So that is good. And also the other options, you can have a background image and you can also have videos, YouTube or Vimeo videos as your background for the container. So that is also an option. And again, in column, you'll have the same option. So you can override and put background colors to make it readable and stuff like that. So I'll just go ahead and save that. So we just did the first section of my site or of my page. So that is the first section. And now what I want to do is to just clone it and make it an alternate style. So the image goes first and the text goes second. So what I will do is highlight my container, make sure my container is selected, and go to container, not the container options. I want to just clone this container. So when I clone it, it creates the exact same container down below. What I want to do is to swap these elements. So make sure that you are in the column view. So this is the separator, this is the column. So what I want to do is to drag that column and put that column right in front like that, and that will put the other column in the second place. So we just change the order of our containers, and maybe if we have another picture, I would like to see that. So I will just go ahead, remove this, and maybe we can, or maybe we can add some video here. I will show you that option as well. So that one looks good, so I think that will work. So everything is looking great so far. We have added two containers, and we have alternate text and visual style with that. So okay, so that is how you build a container. This time we are going to maybe put some image in the background. So what you want to do is go to your container options, and in the background you can just do a background image, and I don't know if we have anything that wide. I am not sure, so we'll just upload something from my computer, and okay, maybe slider 2. Okay, so that is now you can see that there is a background image, and then what I was talking about in terms of this text not being readable because there's an image behind it, you can always go to the column options. So I will just go to the column options and design the column and put up some background color in it with some transparency. So I will just maybe so the text is more readable, do that. So some transparent black color, and maybe I will change my text. So I will select all of that in Fusion Builder and change the font color to white. This puts a span on the page, but for demo purpose it's okay. So I will just put F F F F F F. So what I will do here is just do that. So now you can see that I updated a couple things. So in the column, I'll go to column options again, go to design, and in the background there is a white background. I'll make it more like that so it's more readable, and you can still see the image behind it because there is some transparency defined, and of course you're going to use a better image. Now you can see that it would look better if there is some kind of padding in this column. So what we are going to do is to just go down and add some right and left padding. So you can say 10 pixel maybe. So now you can say that there is some spacing, so it looks kind of nice, and you can also adjust these paddings and margins by dragging these columns like these toolbars that you're seeing on the screen. So we just did a couple columns. Maybe we would like to see something in the background, like something in the middle that has 3 columns with some pictures and text in them. So that will be ideal, and that I will leave for you as an exercise to do. The one thing that I want to briefly discuss is the sliders on the page. So I just showed you how you can do sections. Maybe you can clone this again. So you can go to the clone this guy. Okay, so now I have that. I don't want any background, so maybe I'll get rid of the background here. So I will go to container options, go to background, and just make it white or all of transparent, so it doesn't have any color whatsoever. Okay, so it is white, and what I will do is get rid of this column where the image is, and now I have a single column and that text that I have. So I'll just get rid of it, And now I will just get rid of the text block. So this is the column. Okay, so now we can add elements in there. So let me show you how you can add a YouTube video. So for YouTube videos to be responsive, you want to use the Fusion Builder element. Okay, so now it's asking for a video ID. I don't want it to be text flow, I want it to be centered. Okay, so that is pretty nice. And then you can do a video ID from YouTube. And I will just go ahead and grab anything like that. So the video ID
John, you have
is
tattooed to your brain. The bond market's always out in front of the equity markets. What
okay. Do that and just put the video ID in here. It's aligned to be centered. You can also enter cover images, I believe, with the Fusion Builder. I guess that's not an option anymore. And additional parameters, you can specify whatever the YouTube lets you. So you can say ref equals 0 if you don't want to see any videos related rel, sorry. And you can create a like a query string and start time blah blah blah, whatever the YouTube player allows. Good. So now we have created 3 sections, a video in the middle, and here we have a separator, which I guess we don't need. So okay, so now it looks, everything looks pretty symmetrical. So that is how pretty much you can create a page. So let's say after that you need some more 3-column images. What you can do is simply like clone existing stuff or add new stuff, like add new containers to your page and keep designing them. So you can have backgrounds, you can have parallax, you can have columns. One thing I didn't show you in the container option is the parallax. So you can go to the background, and in the background picture you can select, not background picture but background parallax, you can select whether it will have parallax. So if you make it fixed, it'll start having parallax. So when you scroll, the picture is gonna be fixed and the text is gonna scroll. Pretty cool effect. So again, what I would recommend here ideally is the first section having 3 blurbs, which will be the main services that you can offer. You can also crop your images in circles or do some kind of effects in them. So that does look quite kind of nice. The second thing I wanted to cover was the slider. So you have a lot of options with Avada. You can do fusion slider, elastic slider. My favorite is slider revolution or layer slider. That is the best one that I like. So let's go ahead and do that. So I will save the option, go ahead and create a new slider revolution. So when we select slider revolution from our backend, it's gonna bring us here to a slider revolution backend where we can create new sliders, and then we can go to our page and put that slider on the page. So it is very, very different. I must say that 6.0.9 update from Theme Punch looks like a major update. They have changed things around, but I'm sure I can get something basic going. So what I'm going to do is to just select new blank module. I think that module from template will require you to register slider revolution and purchase it. So if I had to just do that, yeah, so it's asking for a purchase code and get a purchase code, which means that you have to purchase outside of what you have already purchased. So we'll just use the free version and say a new blank module. And once our module comes up, we are going to just select some picture. Okay, so let's get started with the start guide, and we will select a slider. So it loads the slider module templates. We don't want a scene. Scene is like a hero scene, and a carousel is like a sliding images. So you can do all the different kinds of slider. I am going to make a whole new video on how to do sliders and what are the best practices and that kind of stuff. But because I need to do some research before that, I cannot cover all that right now. So here we'll select full width, and next step, intelligent inheriting is good. Okay, so now I have a canvas and it shows me a default slider which is around 900 pixels in height and is set to responsive. So looks like what they have done is, instead of making it multi screens or it was dialogues before, what they have done is put all the options in here, kind of like Photoshop. So you have a single view to work in, and you can access whatever options you want to access in there. So that is the sliding tab where your alias and title and shortcode is generated. So let's say our slider is slider 1. I will just copy this shortcode. I will just click this button to copy shortcode, because this is what we'll need to put in on our page. So to build this, what we are going to do, I guess this is the background image options. So on the new slide, instead of the source being transparent, I can make it image, and that image can be from my media library, and I'll just select the one kind of what they had existing, or we can upload something new as well. This looks pretty decent. So that is the background that my slider will have. Now you can add layers to your slide. So you have slide control over here, so you can add multiple slides, and then you can add layers. So I will say text. Okay, so that is my new layer, and I can drag it like that to change the size, and then I can double click and I guess just start typing. Okay, and then I will add another, maybe I can bring it a little here, but you can drag and drop the text layer. You can add pictures, you can add videos, you can add so many things. You can group objects together so they can be moved together. It's just incredible how much stuff you can do. You can put a button if you'd like, and then style the button accordingly. Did I select a button? This does, oh, this does look slightly different, but I think it's the style that you have to load from here. So that is how my button should look like, and you can say put the button here. You can even put short codes that they had, like contact font 7, and put your buttons over there and stuff like that. You can put text in there. So typically it's like, if this is the slide, then of course you can have animations and all kinds of effects in there, but that is not the scope. We are just trying to create a slider so we have enough options to work with on our page. As I said before, this will be covered in a totally new video, so I will do the okay, and then you have a different styles to load, and I guess we can just go with a smaller style like that. Okay, so the style template is loaded. I will just drag it here, maybe this. So content, oh, there it is. So new stuff, and I will just go like that and put a break in. I guess I can do that, put HTML inside. Okay, so and then I can drag this layer right there. Okay, so that looks like a slider, hardly. Okay, so you see how you can edit the new layer as well. So I'm learning as I'm going along, but I will spend some time on this and create a nice tutorial for you. Okay, so looks like our slider is done. You can duplicate these slides and just keep changing the images. Let's say you don't like it, you like something else. You can easily go back to your background and just change the background or add a new layer, image layer on it. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and save it. I already have, I believe, the it's called slider 1 anyway. So we will just go back to our page, and then we'll try to add the slider. So go back to my pages, and I'll sort it by date, so the last one comes up first. New home is the new one that I just created. Okay, so again, this is how the back end looks like with all the front end editing that we did. So if you have been watching some of the videos that I've created in the past, you will be very familiar with this view. So this is the default Fusion Builder before it used to be visual. So what you can do here is simply select the slider options from the page and select revolution slider, and then you can, this will also be available from the page builder. So just like I was showing you the Fusion Builder, so select a slider. Slider number 1 is good. So slider position is default is above, it's below the menu and above the content of the page, so I will leave it at that. And I don't want the default Avada style. You can use a yes and it'll put a shadow in there. So we will do an update. Okay, so looks like the update is all done. So now what we are going to do is to view the page. So now that we view the page, you will see that my slider comes up. This thing looks a little problematic, so that button needs to be down a little bit. But here is where my content starts, and now you have a text. You can add some more padding here, in my opinion, and then you can have a video. You can play the video, and then you can have another section where I put some text with right and left 10 pixel padding, and if you hover over the image, then it kind of zooms in. So that is that. Now what we want to do is to do some more editing on this page. So I'm gonna select Fusion Builder Live, so it again opens on edit view, and then we can, the first thing I want to show you is, if you select that, I think you can edit the slider just directly from here. So you can edit the slide that is being displayed, and it will take you to where the slider revolution is, so you don't need to click like on the back stuff and on all that. So you can scale your styles properly. So right now I see that this is not correct, so maybe this one will work better. So I will save it and go back, and okay, so this one is saved. I will just go ahead and refresh that link, and now I hope to see the position of that button changed. Okay, now you can see that the position of the button changed. I can go to another link and stuff there, and with my preview this bar won't be there. What I want to do is to add 3 columns with 3 pictures and some spacing from the left hand side, so this looks like a completed home page. So now that you have the empty container up top, what we are going to do is add some columns in it. So we will just select 3 columns like that. So now you can see that there are 3 columns being added to this container, and then you can add elements to it, and there are so many elements that you can add, like title, text block, image, counter circles. You can see them, all of them here, and you can search for elements over there as well. Another tip for you guys is to go to Avada sample and look at these options on how these work. They have samples for all these different elements in there. So the one I like is the text block. We will just go ahead and copy some content from there. So let's say this much. There are 3 lines of text is what we need. So text block options, and I will just go ahead and put these 3 lines there. Okay, and before that, maybe we will add a Fusion icon, a font awesome icon. So we'll add element row there, font awesome. Oh, there it is. So now I select a font awesome, and it gives me which icon do I want, and you can select and even search icons. So you can say card, for example, and a bunch of card icons are gonna come up, and then you can select one like that. And the size of the icon, maybe you can specify a much bigger icon. You can also select like whether they will be circle, how they will be colored, and things like that. So okay, what is in the design? You can add margins, you can add circles, icon and circle. Icon, circle, color you can control. So maybe something, so that is primarily going to be the primary color of whatever your site is set up. But you can obviously change that on a per use level as well. So if you want it to be a different color, then it will be a different color. And I'm looking for the alignment option. I am not finding it over here. So there it is, alignment. Instead of text below, I want it to be centered, and this text I want it to justify as well. So okay, so we'll just select it, and you can say align center like that. Okay, so it is center align. So now what we can do is just drag this element and put that before the text like that. And now I realize that there should be some margin below the icon. So I will go to design, and margin bottom I will just put like 20 pixels. Okay, so this looks nice and clean. What we are going to do is to just remove these columns, and then I'll just clone the one that I have, because I like cloning. It keeps everything uniform. So what I will do is just clone this column. So I will select this column and clone it a couple of times like that. So now I have 3 columns, and now I can edit and modify the icons. So instead of this icon, I want the show some love icon like that. Okay, and something like that. So let's say your site is about communication, so let's say phone. That will also show me some nice icons. So that's that. So something like that. You can have a 3-column layout, then you can have a 2-column layout, then you can have a video, then at the bottom you can have another 2 columns with some another interesting elements, or like a logo reel or something like that. Let's say you go there and add another container, and once this container comes in, so let's say you want half and half, and then you can do a nice combination of something. So start with a white, end with a white, put some separation in the middle so your sections stand out. And you can add like a logo reel, or you can add flipping text boxes. So if just to show you, like I know that I don't have the time to design it, but like that. So you can have nice flip boxes here. You can add a flip box there as well. So okay, and there are some special elements over there as well, called like the portfolio elements and grid, recent post. So if you want your blog to be displaying on the page, you can definitely do that as well. So now I showed you how to quickly and do a dirty revolution slider, add that on the page. The menu options, I covered the logo and menu options in my previous video. If you would like to check that out. Then I showed you how to add columns. I added just one awesome icon. You can add images or whatever elements you like. Then I created some multi-column alternate layouts with some video. And then I just do some text boxes. So I will just go ahead and save my image. This is a widgetized area. So the footer is configured site-wide. You can choose to not display it on the home page, or if you want to display it, you obviously can display it. So if you want to not display it, you'll go in the page options, and just like we hide the title bars, you can hide the footer as well. So now everything is saved, and what we will do is click on the preview button, which is the little eye there, and this is how our page looks like. So okay, we can put in content over there, some nice, and then we have a video. The video, we can play that video. Then we can scroll up and down. We have a 3 things icon. We can definitely add some animation to this slider as well. So this was my quick overview about how to create new pages from scratch and custom layouts. So if you have any custom layouts that you'd like to do, you can go about it by developing from scratch. And my business, iDesign Smart, we offer all kinds of layouts and custom websites, requirements, custom plugins, child themes, whatever you name it is, we can provide that. And you can contact me on my website if you have a custom requirement and you'd like professional help with it. So with that, thanks so much for watching, and if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe because I have a lot more content coming up in the future. Have a nice one. Until next time.